So it happens for an awful lot of people that are very driven in their career, highly driven men in their business or their career. They have this like big slogan above them, responsibility. And underneath responsibility is this huge amounts of pressure that we just kind of carry around with us. I think a lot of it is probably maybe self-imposed. Maybe we put that pressure on ourselves. Maybe the pressure comes from the business, from putting ourselves maybe under financial pressure. Maybe it's the ambition that completely draws us away from the things that are really important. For a lot of people, we kind of get caught up in that like overwhelm, burnout, trying to do everything, trying to change the world tomorrow. And when we do that, we forget to live. We forget to have a life. We forget to be present. We forget to take care of ourselves. And I know exactly how that feels. I would say it was 2015 and I was driving to the gym in my Body Shock Fitness, which was my boot camp van, had all my kit in the back, and I was getting people fit. We had about 3,000 members. And I remember going to the gym and going, I'm too busy to work out. I literally got out of my house, got in the van, and I drove all the way down the gym, which really was probably a 10-minute walk. I parked up and I went, I am too busy. And I drove back home and went back to work for 8 hours, non-stop. I didn't get out of my chair. And I was trying to do everything. And I'm going to show you what I was doing and why it wasn't working for me and why it doesn't work for a lot of men. And I'm also going to show you how to change it, what I changed, so that you can change as well, so that you can make some of these changes to unlock the life that you desire. And actually, we say life, but we're actually, for a lot of people, a slave to our business or our career. And actually, unlocking that life is actually having a life. So we're going to get into it. This is you, little Timmy in the middle. And what we have are all of these tasks, every kind of thing that is going on. So when we talk about that umbrella of responsibility, it's all of these things. So you've got things going on in your business or your career. You've got financial thoughts. You've got to have thoughts about being a father. Am I doing a good job? Am I spending enough time with them? Then you've got the responsibility of your personal development. Am I building my skill set? Am I thinking about my future? Am I building a relationship with my wife? Am I taking care of my health? Am I out of shape? Have I got low energy? Like loads of things that you're trying to think about. And we just constantly like, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. And this is why. Because what we try to do is do all of these things. And what that does is it dilutes a key thing. Okay, we call it TEF. Okay, now TEF is your most valuable asset. And TEF stands for time, energy, and focus. Now, we only have a finite amount of this. We only have a limited amount to be able to achieve certain things. So when we look at this scenario, and it might be slightly exaggerated for you, your time and energy and focus is split between all of these things. And can you see how spread thin that you are here, right? You're spread thin. So what we do is that we rush tasks. So especially things that need to happen in business. So we rush things. And by the end of the day, like we probably won't even have got to these things. These things in here probably haven't even got to them. And some of these things are the most important things, like going to watch your kids at a play or a football match, getting home for dinner and tea, going to the gym, all right? Most of our things here get prioritized by our work, right? By our business. So this in here, a lot of this is to do with our business and our career. Because for some reason, that's what we are driven to do. Like when we provide, we're ambitious, we give all of our time, energy, and focus. There's at least here an 80-20 split. So 80% of our time and our energy and focus is focused on work, and 20% is for the rest of your life, which is probably why you feel like you don't have a life. It's probably why maybe you're out of shape. It's maybe why your marriage is not as good as it could be. It's maybe why sometimes you feel the pang and heartbreak because you're not home enough with the kids. And it sucks because I've been there and I've worked with lots of guys that have been there. But what we want to do is that we want to solve this. And that's what we're going to look at now, okay? So I'm going to bring you down to the new model. How much better visually does that look compared to that? That looks like chaos. This is pretty much the model that we see for a lot of guys when they walk through our front door on the 5-day challenge. And by the way, if you want to come and work with us for 5 days for free to solve some of these problems, you can find the link in our description for when the next one is. It doesn't cost you anything. You can come along and you can do some more work on here about unlocking the life that you desire. But when we come down to here, this feels good. And this is what we get a lot of our guys to do. And this is like, it's the top 3, it's the magic 3. Okay, the 3 things that move you forwards. One of them is personal, one of them is professional, and the other one is wherever the priority is needed. Okay, so I'll give you an example for me. The personal one is always training. Because when I train, me personally, I operate better when it comes to energy and focus. So I make better decisions when I train and I take care of my brain, my emotions, and my body, okay? That is always number 1 on my priority list. And I think about that guy who got to the gym and then went back home. He was a mess. That version of me was a mess because I wasn't training. And when we have the pressure and we have no way to expel that pressure or vent it, it just builds up and it's chronic stress in our bodies, right? It's tight here, it's tight here, it's tight here. We're a nightmare to be around. So training is key. The next thing is within my business is like, what's the number 1 thing that's going to move my business forwards? What am I working on? There are lots of things to work on, but what is the number 1 thing? And then the last one is whatever it might be specific. So if I'm going on a date with the wife, it might be here on that day. If it's something else that needs to go along with the professional side, it goes here. Now, there's a couple of key considerations that we have to think about when we're putting this model into play. So when we look here, right, guys, when we're looking at this chaotic model here, all right, what we tend to have is decision fatigue. So we have this feeling where we're sprinting really hard, but we're sprinting on sinking sand. So we're not really making any progress. Now, you might think to yourself when you come down here, but I need to do more than just 1 or 2 of these things. But you're not achieving anything really here, are you? What you are doing is maybe having cups that are quarter full, half full, and they're just piling on. If you focused on one thing for a whole month and you went all in on that thing that moved the business or the career forwards, you'd master that. And it would be then done, and then you'd be able to move on to the next thing, right? This is just your absolute key priorities. Okay, so this then reduces the overwhelm, the clutter inside of your head, so you can work more efficiently. When we don't operate in control, when we operate in chaos, we break boundaries. Now, this is why men work longer than they really should. Okay, this is because there are no barriers, and when you normally finish at 5 to go home, be a father, be a husband, go and work out, you break the boundaries because there's still so much to do. You work till 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock because you feel obligated that you have to finish those tasks. You're emotionally disrupted. Okay, so your state of mind is chaotic, frantic. Things almost feel like kind of drastic. And then you're battling fatigue, low energy, and you're also battling guilt from not being at home. And you're actually also like feeling probably quite ashamed because your body probably doesn't feel strong, your mind doesn't feel strong, and you feel like you're in a gutter. And from the outside, everyone thinks you're the bee's knees, you're successful. And you just become distracted. You've kind of got this face on where you're in the room, but you're not really in the room. You're not present. Does that make sense? So we want to get rid of this. This is stopping you from having a life. Okay? What we're looking to do is bring immediate control to your life, immediate control to your time, your energy, and your focus. Okay? It's absolutely key. We want to build and master your priority skill setting. So what is a priority? What needs doing immediately? Where is your initial focus need to be? Okay. And then we want to build a lifestyle. So we want to build a career or business around our life. So think about the life that you want. And then think about how everything fits around that life. So for me, personally, my main thing is basing everything around spending time with my young family. So I want to be at school runs, I want to drop off, I want to pick up, I want the weekends off. Okay, I don't want to be working evenings, there's limitation, there's barriers. So I figure out what that is, and I'll do this in a separate video. And then I put everything else around it, how it all fits in. Now you cannot, and you have to be honest with yourself, realistically do all of these things that are here. It's about making progress. It's about having a life. And it's about enjoying the process without having this sort of structure, routine and system. Eventually, I see men crumble to the point where they can't even operate here, and then they're even further behind. Now, it's not meant to be doom and gloom. It's just meant to educate you, to show you what's possible. This is the type of thing that we do every single day in our morning accountability. And I would recommend, if you haven't done one of our 5-day challenges, to come along and work with us for free for 5 days. The link is in the description. Go and check it out, and we will see you on the other side, and be able to practice some more of our teachings and models that are helping men just like you become more of this guy rather than this guy.